the pitch. A South American matchup with a little bit of Spanish on it. Furia versus Complexity. Raised Bull versus Yan, a tale as old as South America itself. Let's get this one started.
Well, guys, there's only one way to decide who is the better team, and that is to face off against each other time and time again. A rematch of two very iconic South American teams about to go down out in the UK.
Game one brought to you by Progressive. Winner moving on to that 2-1 upper round, and you'd love to have the extra playoff qualification life, if you will, in this Swiss round. The longer it gets, the more tiring it feels. Furia's MO has always been speedy play, being faster than you, and being able to out-mechanic you as well. Complexity have a lot of those tools in the kit. Furia had a little bit of pressure early on. That follow-up there from Lost. Looked like he was attacking with low boost. He didn't make contact. The Furia hold on to the ball, and it turns all of Complexity running. Nobody in the corner there. Seemed a bit of confusion. CRR, it's another quick shot. So Complexity, as soon as they get control, go for a quick shot or two. Haven't quite wrested the ball away from Furia. Now they have. Raised Bull can't go with all those blue cars flying in the way. Yan sitting against Raised Bull, just trying to protect it. Good defense there from Raised Bull.
And I gotta say, this first minute is pretty on par with where I thought we were gonna be, although that was a very good attempted setup from Raised Bull. The follow wasn't quite as ready and clean. Yan over one, just skimmed over Diaz as the follow from Lost coming through this time. Not quite. Lost has had a couple opportunities so far to make a follow and a shot, at least at the minimum, but unfortunately for him, it has been a little slow, and a lot of that comes down to the boost starving or resource not managing being as well. But this could be it. A low blow shot off of a demo in the back end just opened that net wide out.
That demo was killer. CRR misses the read as it comes off the backboard. Raised Bull didn't have a lot of boost on the back wall and couldn't chase it. He saw CRR underneath, thinks, you go get that ball. He whiffs, and how are you punished with for a whiff? A demo. Raised Bull still stuck, could not get himself out, and Furia will take advantage of it. A killer demo for sure, but the whiff is really the backbreaker.
Oh yeah, and honestly, I expect a crazy level of aggression from Furia as well. They are frustrated. Diaz off the backboard though, because that aggression is also gonna come out of Complexity. CRR, an amazing catch. This was almost a full team effort, actually. It started with Raised Bull. He went to the sidewall. Diaz said, dude, I got you off the backboard. And he goes, I got all the time in the world off this one. Tied game at 3:10 on the clock. We went from a minute completely scoreless to now the quick responses are coming in. Jaffinho to the back. This one sent to the corner.
Well, it was an immediate breakdown in discipline off the kickoff from Furia. You saw Lost and Jaffinho double commit, and Lost couldn't recover, and now the same is happening again as Complexity with CRR. He held his flip, threw a little musty on it, and then Jaffinho gets faked out by Diaz. Diaz looking like he's gonna push towards the back wall, try to air dribble. So Jaffinho goes up way early, and Diaz is like, I can see you, bro. I'm not going any farther. I don't have any boosts. Psych! And the ball's in the net. So a good look sold by Diaz as Jaffinho got caught out.
Unfortunate. And of course, if you can make Furia feel a little antsy on defense, those opportunities are going to present themselves a lot more frequently than you would have to work for them. Yan 1v1. We'll see that later on, but now not quite as successful. They throw it back towards mid. Diaz, nice clear up field. Yan's gonna slow it down. You can see, again, in the back end of it, Jorby, that these Furia players are trying to go for a bumper here, but a clear is more than enough to find your way in.
Yeah, they weren't expecting Yan as he chain dashes across the corner. Raised Bull, you see him expecting a 50-50, and he didn't get anything from his teammate. That's the sneaky OP nature of that chain dash, is deceptive speed traveling across that wall, and two little dashes across the corner, especially around the corner. Your perception can be a little harder to see how fast he's going to get to that ball, but Diaz was in the area, or not Diaz, I think Diaz or CRR, can't remember which one it was. I was looking at Raised Bull. Either way, you don't get it, you get caught out. Every single goal scored so far has been a mistake, and has been less each player. Well, I guess Diaz he had no boost, so he had no real way to push the ball towards the back wall. So I'll definitely say an overcorrection from Drafinho on that goal as well. By the way, not the clean gameplay that either team surely wants to play with. And cleared out downfield. We are all tied up as both teams continue to try to stabilize.
Still tied, just over 90 seconds to go in this game number one. Like Joey said, not the cleanest of gameplay from both of them, but of course, when you are familiar and then you had a rough time, things can start to pick up. Great read from CRR, just stopping this in its tracks. Drafinho can't get a beat on CRR. Instead, it's a breakaway opportunity that gets sent back out mid. And Furia, even on low boost, still making plays. As they find their way into this orange side, CRR is going to deny them the chance to take any more shots here. And I got to hand it to Complexity. Defensively, they've done a great job of slowing down Furia and not allowing them to at least get confident with their offensive push.
Lost. Good slowdown on the play. Just could not get by all three members of Complexity. Furia, solid hold of the midfield line and a free pass. Drafinho, it was a light touch. And the changeup works out. I'm surprised this one gets through. Yan got a nice touch here. Raisel doesn't have a ton of boost on the wall, and tough. Drafinho hits it underneath and says, fine, Raisel, make the play. And just too awkward coming off that wall.
That was a pretty good prediction from Raisel too. I gotta hand it to him because he could have placed that a little further to the right, and he still was like, ooh, I think he might play the mind game on this one. And 30 seconds left for Complexity to find a mind game of their own and tie things up here, but they are stuck in their own half. CRR clear out. Raisel low boost means this goes straight back in the hands of Furia. 2 up for this ball. 1 touch on it sends it back down to the ground, but Furia still continue to prevail. Reset towards the net, but way too wide to be on target. 10 seconds left to go. Drafinho shot on no boost. The bump doesn't allow it through, but that's not going to stop them here. The double from Lost gives Furia their first win.
And CRR no boost just avoids the bump to get the touch, but it doesn't matter. Beautiful touch from Drafinho. Diaz with no boost, but Drafinho still put that in a perfect spot. Diaz has to try to chase it down, and impossible to do in the air. Lost was ready for it. Easy double tap. And game one will go to Furia after what was not a pretty first half of this game, or first 4 goals of the game. Furia started to turn the screws on Complexity. We're able to find a way to win this game up by 2 as it drops to the ground, and we head on to game 2.
Not a bad end showing from Furia. I think a little scrappy in the beginning from both of these teams. They were kind of starting to just...
How often do you see the defender in net? With Diaz had no boost, CRR had to make a save with no boost. Well, that's that fast gameplay. And Furia can beat you in your own corners and force you to play a vertical defense. It becomes difficult to protect those corner boosts. Complexity, you can be as disciplined as you want, but if you run out of gas, you're not going to go very far. Let's see what they can do here in game 2.
Well, Raisel pass over to CRR. High wide shot, but still very clean. It's not going to stop here too. They are trying to just play these pass and play games and see if they can pinball it around Furia. They almost have twice now, but Furia has remained at least structured enough to keep Complexity out of their net. They're going to go again here. Diaz down over to Raisel. That shot completely denied off Lost, but they go again, this time successful. I think that was, what, 4 attempts at a passing play, 2 of them drop downs. And finally, Complexity, the plan is in motion.
Yeah, Lost, he was battling for the boost, and then he gets bumped out of the play. Yan in net, he had nothing. And there was a couple of passes that were solid there from Complexity. Furia had to adjust a couple of times. They'd done enough work. Didn't matter that Lost had won that corner boost, because you saw that pass from CRR was beautiful out to Diaz, making sure it goes in. And doing a little bit of that. It's good play, good pressure on offense from Complexity. They weren't able to generate a lot of that in game 1.
Really good clear and a catch from Diaz on top of it. Right now, Complexity, the goal is just don't look like you did in game 1. Don't get boxed in. as often as you were before. Yan already a crazy cheat up, a demo on the back end, double demo too, but the clear already came out, and now Furia is saying thank you for the demos. You got us back in time to defend.
And there's nobody to follow up either, so you can take your time, let that ball come back to the wall. rlesports just has to hold for a 50, needs some support. Not gonna get it. Diaz was cheating up a little bit, expends a lot of boost just to get this touch. Furia sending numbers to the back wall. Drafinho, a setup off the ceiling, bouncer shot, and he finds his way through. Yan, a bit awkward on the pass. Drafinho gets this one. Diaz can't chase that one down, and CRR has to backflip towards it, and poor rlesports, nothing he can do to make that save.
I mean, you talk about a team being controlled. I feel like that entire situation was like, ooh, they are zoned in. Now a tied game. 3 minutes left in regulation here. CRR and rlesports are going to try and work together. The pass completely intercepted, but still 50's back into that complexity half. Lost on no boost. Still able to make a touch off the ceiling, and I do like that from Furia. A lot of what they've been doing is, even when they are low on resource, they manage to at least get this ball pushing forward. They try again here, Yan. Bounce up, and the amount of times they've done this, Jorby, where they opt to just bounce it up instead of just sending it forward. I don't know if this is supposed to be some mind game on Complexity, but Complexity is starting to read it a little too frequently.
Yeah, it's just to give themselves a chance at the ball. You put it in a neutral space. The vertical space is a valid opportunity to do it. It can also create space as well. You force the Complexity defense to use a little bit more boost. You have to go up and challenge those attacks. In Complexity, they haven't been able to really control the ball out of their half. Furia always finding a way to get behind the ball there. Good setup from Lost on the pass. Yan stuffed the ball. Drafinho just going to throw bodies at it. Yan again tries to control this, actually gets through one. Lost fakes the challenge, and you saw the double commit. They all bit. They're gonna get out, but you have to extend the tank. Can you actually hold on to the ball? They can't. So Furia really playing to their own rhythm right now. Complexity can't find a way to actually dictate pace.
CRR had to drop that to Diaz. He had no boost, so just gotta hope that that clear went successfully, and it semi did, although the 50 not as well. Just under 90 seconds left. It's another tied game at this point. This is where things kind of start to ramp up for Furia. This one back down. Yan stayed a little bit further back, and that was the right call. Can he get over one? He does. Flick takes his time. The 1v1 game helping the team get through, but finally Complexity able to put at least a hand up enough to slow him down, but it's not going to end the pressure. The bounce play finally in motion, but Complexity, I mean, you talk about a team to stay calm. They're staying calm enough for the amount of pressure being thrown at them, although this could end it right here.
Yeah, looking calm. I gotta be careful with their positioning, because they keep positioning like they're winning these challenges. You see them close up. Even third man will play a very close follow-up on these challenges, and that's all good and fine, but you're not winning a lot of them. As Yan actually expends the tank. Complexity's defense starting to run low on the tank. They're not winning their corner boost. Yan felt like that one should have been on target. CRR was in the net. And without seeing from Yan's perspective, hard to know exactly how he saw it, but the pass, looking for Drafinho. Drafinho was looking for a bump instead. Furia a bit disconnected here at the end of regulation. Will it cost them on their push? They maintain possession. Yan looking forward for a bump. He's got two, and it sets up Lost. Yan turns himself into an aerial battering ram.
Well, we were waiting to see who was going to be the most composed in a high-pressure situation. I think a double bump and a 0-second goal speaks for itself. Furia go to match point.
Absolutely felt like that. That was the Furia that they want to be, where you are high octane, super fast, oppressive, and the other team is unable to do absolutely anything. Complexity had no control in game two. It was all Furia all day, and a much cleaner game two from them. Furia look like they're going to be taking this one in 3 unless Complexity can find a way to slow this team down.
Well, one last opportunity for Complexity before they could potentially be sent down to their last chance of the Swiss. So you really got to step up here. And this is one of the more composed teams, and I mean that in a sense that they have always had a very clean, cutthroat game. The problem is when you go up against a team that isn't as, you know, clean with their play style as you, and they just opt for the run around as fast as you can, but we do know that it is on purpose. It is very confusing for Complexity to kind of get in and keep up with that level of style. And Lost already upfield. RLCS and CRR working together to try and just throw Furia back, but that's not going to happen with Yan in your face.
I mean, there's the difference, though. Like, Complexity, they were on offense for a second. They're able to get the ball to the back wall, but they don't secure Furia's corner boost. And then the ball gets immediately cleared out because everyone has to retreat beyond the midfield line. Then you see Furia get on Complexity's half. What do? They put the ball up high. They prioritize getting that boost out of the way. If they're not on the ball, like Lost has to be here. And then even there, corner's still available. And now Yan can just pitch it. Drafinho and Lost both have boost. And as long as Lost doesn't run into his teammate, Furia get to stay on offense. Those corner boosts so crucial to this quick gameplay that Furia love to play. Another 50 as Lost gets in front of it again. Double tap underneath. Or not a double tap. Just trying to set it up around RLCS. Was a second tap off the ground. A different kind of double tap, but not the actual word for it. Shot from Complexity, finally breaking through as Furia couldn't get reset. Diaz picks up the first for Complexity.
I love that. The boost steal too just really allowed RLCS to make that cut and that play, and once everybody on Furia was back on virtually nothing, you throw that third man into the mix, there's no stopping him. Complexity take the lead here in game number 3. Can they hold on to it? They might even extend off the kickoff. The demo just allows it to roll in. And I mean, it may not be all smiles on the end of Complexity, but it is a sigh of relief.
Drafinho trying to get around the ball. He runs into RLCS. Drafinho's in a hard place there because if he takes the path on the right side of the ball, RLCS likely beats him. So he has to take RLCS' side of the ball to try to beat him to it. And of course, RLCS racing towards it. So he runs into RLCS instead and kills all of his momentum. And they tried that fake kickoff. Yan tried to slow it down. Drafinho was cheating up. It was a disastrous kickoff for Furia. And that's 2 plays in a row now for Furia. I was saying at the beginning of the game, my eyes were on Drafinho, and I felt like if he wasn't playing well, or if things were going wrong, I'd probably be looking at Drafinho as being the reason why, but it's actually Lost. And Furia haven't dropped the game yet, but when they are getting scored on, that first goal, Lost double commits despite Drafinho being in the area, and then he couldn't recover for Diaz's shot. He did that in game 1 as well. Not 2 double commits, but one where Lost, he cheated up on a play when he shouldn't have, got burned on a play. It's like Lost kind of going back to an old form that we saw from him when he first joined this Furia team against Complexity. At least at times. I gotta fix it here with 2 minutes to go.
No, you're definitely like nail on the head on that one. But you know what? That doesn't even matter. Diaz said, look, I know you all saw what we did in the last 2 games. Forget about it. We know this team. We can push our way through. That's just nasty. That's the only...
See that extra little touch from Diaz in front of the box as Drafinho's going to challenge. Drafinho thinks he's got the line of the ball figured out, but then Diaz gets the catch, and he pushes that ball just slightly to the right, completely changing the angle of the challenge. You're talking about a challenge that either goes up and away to save, but Diaz, that last little catch, like he puts almost no momentum on it, but he does enough just to change the direction of it, and that's what helps get that through. That was deceptively close on that challenge. Lost gonna get one back though, lines it up, saves his dodge, and picks up the first goal for Furia.
It's just a good catch from Yan too, and to leave it for him. I think last 2 defenders were like, all right, there's 2 ways this goes. He either tries to redirect it in, get another little touch, or it's faked, and they pick the latter of the option. 2 down with 1:35 on the clock. Can Furia catch up here? Pass over to Drafinho. And Complexity's doing a better job of at least trying to anticipate a couple of these passes out from Furia.
Oh, whoa.
Discombobulation in the mid from CRR, and Diaz leaves RLCS in an awkward position. Thankfully for them, though, he had enough boost to get them all the way down to this end of the field, but that is not a sign you want to be seeing in the last remaining moments of this game 3.
Diaz looked a little shaky on that last sequence. Double commit almost costing them another goal and putting Furia in position to win. Furia stacking up in the corner. Lost needs boost. He's got to go back. Yan protects the retreat allows Lost to come forward. Drafinho behind him. Yan going to look for boost. Lost bumps one. Drafinho doesn't get the touch. And Yan seeing Diaz will let him hit that one. Diaz is thinking Yan will try to challenge him. Maybe he'll get a bounce, but he didn't have a lot of boost. Not a lot of options for Diaz. Doesn't matter though, Complexity have wasted a little bit more time. Yan, decent catch, Lost, no redirect. Drafinho shot right in front of Diaz, and he gets a piece of it. And Complexity hold on to the lead and protect themselves from getting swept out of the series, but Lost isn't quite done as he bumps one out. And the layers are there for Complexity. You see Yan getting bumped on the back, has to recover. Lost was going forward, but RLCS in the area. Complexity redirect. No more time for Furia. Down the field, Yan pass to Drafinho. He doesn't take the challenge against CRR, and that'll do it. Complexity do not get swept. They start the journey to try to force game 5.
And this isn't too unexpected. I think at some point, if your back is completely against the wall, right, and you are Complexity and you've played this team.
Unless Furia give it to them. When we're seeing Furia's offense succeed, they're breaking down a disciplined Complexity backline. We've seen discipline breakdown at times for Complexity, but it's been recoverable. Most of the time Furia are scoring, they break them down effectively on offense, and there's not much more Complexity can do about it. Furia are the makers of their own demise right now. And so if Furia are disciplined, they win this series 100%. But if it doesn't even have to be Lost who ends up breaking down in discipline. He's just been the one that he has broken down. When he's on, he's on. Right now, Complexity finding ways to break Furia down. Yan with a hard touch out. I do agree with you, Hercules, when it comes to Yan. I think he looks rock solid. Very rarely do I think Yan is the problem ever when Furia are losing a game, and he certainly is not the cause of those problems at all. He's had a lot of great touches, and his vision has been excellent moving the ball around the field.
And now he's moving Sierra around the field. Poor guy is getting pummeled out in his own half, and Furia is now in theirs. And Diaz used what little boost he had left to try and make this clear out and give his team some breathing room. And for Furia, I mean, you just gotta forget about the last game, stay composed, and refine your footing and make sure that defense is clean. Drafinho back in time to make that clear out, and Yan just there to follow. And you gotta shadow him enough,
there it is.
And he will. I expected the little mirror there. I was scared he was gonna be playing that a little bit too close, and by he, I mean Drafinho. But no, he got just ahead so that he could hit it back, and when Complexity, that last defender, had a little bit too much momentum going forward, he knew right place, right time.
It really is momentum for that play, because Diaz puts himself into the corner. He thinks, all right, I can chase Yan across the box, I can stay behind the ball, and I can win. But then Yan just puts a deceptive amount of speed around the corner, and you're not going to get a corner double tap today. And that put Diaz actually behind the play. He's thinking, I'm in position. And Yan's like, actually, buddy, you're dead. You're too slow. And so that's the Yan effect right there. Drafinho popping this across. CRR, no boosts, able to square up on the 50. And Furia unable to score in that last game until late after their 2 mistakes, as CRR punched that ball up. Complexity, how do you break them down? You got to steal those corner boosts. RLCS does that. Now he can try to bump Drafinho. Now Drafinho's got to be left looking for boost. Yan also got demoed, so Complexity get to hold on to the ball. This is a bit better on the offensive push, something they've actually struggled with in this series. Not just holding the ball, but doing the things off ball to hold on to that ball. Drafinho getting that clear, but not able to grab true possession just yet.
Oh man, and every time it feels like Furia finally have possession again, or at least comfortably, they have been demoed or bumped off, and that's just a testament to Complexity wanting to ramp up their level of aggression to stay in this game, or at least attempt to get back into it. They are still down by 1 with 2 minutes left to go. RLCS, his challenge, pushes this one forward, but both defenders back to just keep him out. CRR at least enough boost to work with to attempt to get around, but Complexity have been met with a wall of defense every single time they've gotten into that Furia half, and of course those transitions aren't any better to have to race back against.
And it looks like Complexity have really upped the aggression in terms of physicality as well. Prioritizing those bumps a little bit more, screening across the net a lot more in this game. And there's something historically that Furia have struggled against, is teams that do prioritize physical play. Complexity all had to pull back on this. Furia needed that big clear. They need a little bit more boost in the tank. Drafinho will buy them tons of time. Is Lost and Yan now ready up, but can they actually get possession again? You see Yan, he's having to jump and avoid a touch. So his challenge against Rlesports is slow, but not a bad challenge at all. Rlesports took a while to get there, didn't have a ton of boost. Diaz, nice short touch for Rlesports, but didn't want to try to force it against Drafinho. Complexity still winning these touches and eventually break down Furia. Just a half step ahead and a whole goal up to tie it up.
What happened here? I guess it's just it's a rough challenge there from Yan. I don't want to say bad. It was a good attempt. You just got beat out, man. Tied game, less than a minute to go. Off the kickoff, Rlesports to catch it. He goes one end to the other to Diaz. They're just going to try and do what they've done best, pinball around. They almost thread the needle on the defense right there. CRR is going to try and slow it down just a tiny bit, but you're counting down to the last 30 seconds of regulation. And Furia's in your half. Rlesports, great stop. And CRR going to try and put Complexity back in that blue side.
CRR needed to get that clear for his team, and Furia leave the gate open. Somehow they get there, and the post helps them out. Oh, Furia absolutely should be down a goal right now. I do not know how in the world they kept that ball out of the net. The follow-up bounces off the post. They get the rebound back. Complexity, they want to get it back before the end of regulation. Raise ball! Denied by Yan! El Toro stopped in the gate, and Furia keep it to overtime.
One more chance for Complexity to stay in this one. Off the kickoff, a shot on target. Drafinho kept them out twice in the ending of that game, but in overtime, it matters more. Here comes Complexity, having to defend. You saw Yan pushing up and trying to move him around, but instead they're already on the other half of the end. Off the ceiling, pinched down in the ground, but Yan keeps him out.
He had CRR bearing down on him. Yan just pumps the brakes and lets CRR fly around him, makes the save right afterwards. Now a little short hop from Yan, gives it to Drafinho. CRR makes the stop. Diaz, with the only one in the area to make a play, has to expend the boost. Lost can't recover in time for a follow-up. Yan will help him out. 1v1, just goes for the demo. He wants another one. CRR Diaz gets around him. And Complexity get to survive in the corner. Furia stack themselves up, feeling like they should have had a break there on that demo, but it dies in the corner, and Complexity will break out with CRR. The shot from the ball puts Complexity in game 5.
This isn't gonna end here. It's a forced game 5 in OT, a reset down pass. CRR to Rlesports. Just a beauty of a duo play.
It started slow, it started ugly, but it's gotten fast and it's gotten fun. Let's go.
Last game to find out who's going to be going down to the 1 and 2 round. Complexity fighting tooth and nail to stay out of it. A couple times we've seen goals straight off the rip in a game. This time, Complexity, at least with the pressure and the attempts. Rlesports calls himself off as CRR takes this one challenge, sends back out mid. And Complexity still fighting for control of this mid line.
For Furia, I don't think you got to change too much about your approach. Complexity have had to be the ones to answer the call. 2 straight game wins. This time prioritizing the challenge. It was a fake challenge there. CRR just tried to keep control of it. Maybe not fake. It's sometimes hard to tell if I'm not on that player POV if he's just missing. For Lost, I give it equal chance fake, equal chance just whiff. Nice 50 from Yan. Uses the top of his car for a quick recovery. This puts Drafinho in a solid spot. 50 back to Lost, but it came at him fast. That's a hard one to time. Another challenge. Lost at the top of the box, tries to recorrect the path. And Complexity find the breakout. Drafinho was the last back. And he got chipped back down, but it works out.
A lot of pressure from Furia about to build up right now. 2 over 1. No bump on Diaz means this one stays floating out. Complexity on their return. Transition not on target, but from the center, a pass off the backboard. The follow. Diaz denied again. Lost really stepping up here in this game 5, was a little quieter on defense, but now getting a lot more involved, and you can just see the confidence level rise too, along with the pace of play that Furia has. And that's where they play best, Jorby. Furia plays their best when they're playing fast.
Oh! That was a sick touch from Yan. Lost was like, oh my God, I gotta dive across and get that touch, and he couldn't make the grab. And he was at the top of it. It looked like it was gonna go in. Yan, no touch for him. Diaz will get his corner boost. CRR demos to open up the space for Razebull. Yan's there to close it down. Lost no boost. Razebull staying on top of him. Trevino forced to make a decision. He decides to take the challenge, but misses the ball. CRR beats him to it. Complexity in control right now as Furia try to get some consistent possession. But Complexity are running it through them. Lost avoiding the bump and getting the touch back out, but again, Complexity are the ones dictating the pace of play.
This isn't the end of it either. Complexity really trying to slow it down and make it back into their favor. But Furia is not going to allow that. They're already out in their half. You saw Jaffinho. I've noticed so many times where Furia will send somebody up, but then they realize that this possession isn't quite as theirs as they thought. And the shots are coming a little bit more infrequently. Less than 2 minutes to go. Complexity, they've done a great job, again, of just keeping their composure. And that really is what's setting them apart right now in this game 5. Demo shot sent off by Jaffinho, and Yan's there to clean it up and really just guarantee Complexity's not getting in.
And Jaffinho, good orientation on the car as well to make sure it didn't just pop right back into Razebull's bumper. But Diaz has possession up high, drops it! Lost has the save on the layer. Yan can't get there. And Complexity have been holding this ball for what feels like the entire game. Pass up, and no chance. Yan looking for a way out, keeps the touch tight. Razebull's got the angle. No boost and no corner to steal. There's CRR lying in wait in the midfield line. Jaffinho kicks it down. Razebull will retreat for some boost as Diaz buys time. This could be the chance for Furia to get a bit of possession. But the Bull will take it away from him. Everyone's back, actually. No one there to challenge Jaffinho. CRR wins it. But now this is the chance. Furia get to steal some boost. You get a chance to squeeze Complexity a little bit for the first time this game. A light shot and a good follow-up touch from CRR on the save. No boost for Yan. Wins the first. Razebull gets the ball back. Complexity want to hold, but he doesn't get a chance to hold on to the ball. Furia trying everything they can to wrench this ball away. Yan over top of one. Razebull, not the best clear for him. Jaffinho, no! The dunk comes back. Razebull with the first save. Diaz with the second. And Complexity shut the door on Furia. Pass, Jaffinho, no! Diaz makes another stop. Downfield transition, Yan makes the stop. Doesn't get the follow-up touch. No help coming for Furia. Lost desperately getting it out to the side. And both ways, it almost swung. Complexity holding on to the midfield line. Yan with a free touch. Diaz got bumped. He needs help, and Razebull's there. Lost across the corner. Wants a follow-up. It's too high at the end of regulation. 0-0. Oh! Up high. Fake. Deep shot. No boost. And Furia, do you let it drop? Overtime.
The most intense last minute of gameplay comes down to an OT golden goal. Complexity, with all the momentum in the world, have tried to slow down Furia, but Furia's not going to stop here. Yan sends it forward, and he's in! Furia are headed to round 4.
That's simply why Yan's the man. Off the ceiling, gets the reset on the ceiling double.